Before the Maya carved towering pyramids, before the Aztecs ruled the Valley of Mexico, there was a civilization cloaked in mystery, a culture that laid the foundations of Mesoamerica, then vanished into history without a trace. They were master sculptors, skilled astronomers, engineers of stone. And to this day, no one truly knows who they were, where they came from, or why they disappeared. They are known only by a name others gave them, the Olmecs. The Olmecs emerged around 1600 BCE, nearly 3,600 years ago, along the Gulf Coast of modern-day Mexico, in the swampy, jungle-rich regions of Veracruz and Tabasco. To modernize their world was difficult, hot, humid, and unstable. The land was prone to flooding, covered with thick vegetation and teeming with insects. But to the Olmecs, it was fertile ground. The endless rainfall and the nutrient-rich floodplains of the Coatzacoalcos River allowed them to grow maize, beans, squash, and manioc in abundance. This surplus food fueled their growth and gave rise to San Lorenzo, the first Olmec city and the earliest known urban center in Mesoamerica. San Lorenzo flourished between 1200 and 900 BCE. It wasn't just a cluster of huts. It was an organized metropolis, complete with drainage systems, ceremonial platforms, monuments, and elite residences. Some platforms were artificially raised hills that may have served religious or political purposes. This kind of engineering meant they had specialized labor. They had hierarchy. They had power. But what truly sets the Olmecs apart is their art, and most strikingly, their colossal heads. Each one is carved from a single basalt boulder, weighing between 6 to 40 tons. The largest is over 11 feet tall. Transporting these stones meant dragging them across miles of jungle and swamp, some possibly from over 50 miles away. And yet they managed it, with no wheels, no beasts of burden, no metal tools. The heads themselves are detailed, realistic, each one unique, wide, powerful faces wearing what appear to be helmet-like headdresses. Many scholars believe they represent rulers, possibly deified after death. Why such massive heads? What message did they send? Power, legacy, fear. Nearby, the Olmecs also built thrones, altars, and steles, carved stone slabs covered in figures and symbols. These show warriors, priests, and what may be early hieroglyphic writing, some of the oldest in the Americas. Their iconography is strange and powerful. Human-animal hybrids. The were-jaguar, a snarling figure with feline fangs and almond-shaped eyes, is one of the most recurring motifs. It's believed to represent a core or spiritual transformation, possibly through shamanic rituals involving hallucinogens. This mix of religion, power, and art shows a civilization deeply spiritual and highly organized. Around 900 BCE, San Lorenzo declined, possibly from environmental change, conflict, or internal upheaval. But the Olmecs didn't vanish. They evolved. Their new capital became La Venta, which flourished from 900 to 400 BCE. At La Venta, the Olmecs reached new heights of religious expression. They built a massive pyramid, considered the oldest known in Mesoamerica. Not built of stone, but of carefully layered clay and earth, a feat of planning and manpower. La Venta was likely a sacred city, a ceremonial complex, possibly a pilgrimage site. The Olmecs organized their society around what some call the Axis Mundi, a belief in sacred vertical alignment between heaven, earth, and the underworld. Many of their ceremonial spaces were aligned to astronomical events, suggesting they were early practitioners of astronomy. They also developed what may have been a calendar, and likely introduced the concept of zero, which the Maya would later develop in full. Their economy was expansive. Olmec goods, like carved jade, polished mirrors, and ceramics, have been found as far as El Salvador and central Mexico. This shows the Olmecs weren't isolated. They were traders, influencers, and culture bearers. And then, around 400 BCE, the Olmec world unraveled. La Venta declined, the stone heads stopped, the monumental centers were abandoned. No records explain why. There's no evidence of conquest or fire, no great battle, no tombs filled with sacrificed kings. So what happened? Some archaeologists believe environmental instability played a role. Changing river courses could have destroyed farmland or disrupted trade. Others think internal political collapse, perhaps elite conflict or civil unrest, dismantled centralized control. But a third theory is more subtle and perhaps more powerful. The Olmecs didn't vanish. They were absorbed, culturally and genetically, into the civilizations they once inspired. Evidence of Olmec art, religion, iconography, and possibly language continues in later cultures, most clearly the Zapotecs, Teotihuacanos, and the Maya. Their gods live on. Their ideas echo. The roots of Mesoamerican civilization are Olmec. For over 2,000 years, the Olmecs were forgotten. Jungles reclaimed their cities. Their names were lost. Their language died. Then, in the 19th century, farmers near Tres Zapotes found something strange sticking out of the ground, a massive stone head, half buried. It wasn't until the 1940s and 50s, with the work of archaeologists like Matthew Stirling, that the Olmecs were recognized as the first great civilization of Mesoamerica. Even today, we still can't read their script. We don't know what they called themselves. We don't know the names of their kings or the full extent of their territory. But we know this. They were the pioneers, the first to organize cities, the first to carve monuments, the first to blend art, ritual, science, and statecraft in the Americas. So much of their world is still hidden in the jungles, in the soil, and perhaps beneath our feet. But their legacy lives on in every pyramid, every glyph, and every mystery that followed them. The Olmecs may have vanished, but their fingerprints are still on the face of history.